Hello. Well, today is December 10th, 2024, and keeping with a great tradition, this is the actual anniversary of the death of Alfred Nobel, and he created the Nobel Prize, physics, chemistry, uh, biology, although it says medicine and physiology, as well as other prizes in his name, such as economics and peace. Today, this is a great day because what we have is a recognition of the man's most important scientific achievements over the last since civilization formed over 10,000 years ago, when we started living in cities and farming communities. To me, the Nobel Prize is a great award. I find it fantastic because it brings science to the public and to the press. We get to highlight it, guaranteed highlight of science once a year, and it has a physics prize, which I do physics. So I find that really great. But, the tradition, I have another connection to the Nobel Prize, and that is one of my PhD advisors was this man, George Charpak. He actually got the Nobel Prize in 1992 while I was working for him. Of course, his prize is most notable for the invention of the multi-wire proportional chamber, which allowed him to do his kaon experiments at the proton synchrotron fixed target hall off of the CERN. At the time, it was the most advanced accelerator. Of course, it'd be called pretty tiny today since it only goes up to 25 GeV. But George was the leader in instrumentations as well as doing science. And so he was an active participant on that K0 experiment to study in more detail CP violation in the kaon system. And so he deserves a great recognition for that. And I honor him on this day because it was about 31 years ago that the ceremony honored my advisor, George Charpak. Of course, I have another connection to the Nobel Prize, and that is that I too have done something fantastic that someday might be viewed as worthy of the Nobel Prize, and that is how I proved that unitarity in the CKM matrix of the quark interactions was correct. Before I did this measurement, unitarity was believed to be the source of CP violation. The CP violation in kaons at the time was the only well-known one. Of course, we've gone to the B quark most recently, but it just turned out that there was actually a flaw in one of the measurements. A VUS was completely wrong. I measured it off by over 5 sigma with my Hyperon Beta decay. And here's an article that is the historical summary refereed paper on how unitarity in the CKM matrix of quark interactions was proven correct. I wrote this paper just recently as the conference introductory talk back in 2022, and it was peer reviewed and published in 2023 in Attica Physics Bologna, which is the Polish Academy of Sciences conference proceeding supplements. They are refereed, so that's exciting. But there's an even bigger tradition. Although George Charpak was my PhD advisor and he got the Nobel Prize, it turns out that George Charpak himself was the student of another PhD advisor, and that would be Frédéric Curie. And Frédéric Joliot-Curie, he actually took the last name of his wife and merged it with his name. He was born Jean Frédéric Joliot, and he's known as Frédéric Joliot-Curie, combination last name. And he was George Charpak's advisor. He was most notably for creating artificial radioactivity by bombarding heavy elements with radioactive materials. And so he wins the Nobel Prize with his wife, Irene Curie, who's the daughter of Pierre and Marie Curie, in 1935. So George Charpak had a great tradition. He was connected. His PhD advisor was the Nobel Prize winner. However, even Frederic Curie, or Frederic Joliot at the time, before he was married to Marie Curie's daughter, Irene. Um, he was the PhD student of Marie Curie, who got not just one Nobel Prize, but she got two Nobel Prizes. She got the Nobel Prize in 1903, shared with her husband Pierre Curie and with Henri Becquerel. And of course, then Pierre Curie died in what you would call an auto accident, but he was run over by six horses in 1906. And she went on to get another Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, in 2011 by herself. So George Charpak has a long connection to the Nobel Prizes with his advisor, PhD advisor, Frederic Joliot-Curie, who's the student of Marie Curie, and of course, marries Marie Curie's daughter, Irene. And so there's a great connection there. And today, if you haven't had the chance, and it's always worth doing that, I suggest you go and you look at the Nobel Prize ceremony. Here's just a small portion of it as the royal family is entering the audience to listen to the talks. So it's a great opportunity to bring science to the public, and I encourage you to go and all look at it and listen to the talks. They're never boring. It highlights man's greatest achievements in science, and for that, it's worth the time. So thank you.